Good evening. I am Theodore Roosevelt. Thanksgiving was an appreciated festival, but in no way came up to Christmas. Christmas was an occasion of literally delirious joy. In the evening, we hung up our stockings, or rather, the biggest stockings we could borrow from the grown-ups, and before dawn, we trooped in to open them while sitting on Father's and Mother's bed. The biggest presents were arranged, those for each child on its own table, in the drawing room, the doors of which were thrown open after breakfast. I never knew anyone to have what seemed to such an attractive Christmases, and in the next generation I tried to reproduce them exactly for my own children. In 1890, I wrote to my sister Bammy about our family Christmas. We had a lovely time here, and the children enjoyed it with the same wild rapture we ourselves felt 25 years ago. And I think I enjoyed it almost as much as the children. Even Kermit really liked his stocking and toys, though in abject horror of the menagerie of squealing woolly animals which covered his table. Soon after 7, Alice and Ted fairly galloped into our room to look for their stockings. Such nice stockings, with such an entrancing way of revealing in their bulging outlines the promise of what was inside. They burrowed into them with their eager, chubby little hands, and hailed each new treasure trove with shouts of delight. Then, after breakfast, we all walked into the room where the big toys, so many of them, where they were on the tables. And I suppose Alice and Ted came as near to realizing the feelings of those who enter paradise as they ever will on this earth. They worshipped all the wonderful things. I wrote to the grandson of President James Garfield about our Christmas in the White House in 1902. Jimmykins, among all the presents I got, I don't think there was one I appreciate more than yours, for I was brought up to admire and respect your grandfather, and I have great fondness and esteem for your father. It always seems to me as if you children were being brought up the way that mine are. Yesterday morning, at 6:45, all the children were up and dressed and began to hammer at the door of their mothers in my room, in which their 6 stockings, all bulging out at odd angles and rotundities, were hanging from the fireplace. So their mother and I got up, shut the window, lit the fire, taking down the stockings, of course, put on our wrappers, and prepared to admit the children. But first there was a surprise for me, and also for their good mother, for Archie had a little birthday tree of his own which he had rigged up with the help of one of the carpenters in a big closet. We all had to look at the tree, and each of us got a present off of it. There was also one present each for Jack the dog, Tom Quartz the kitten, and Algonquin the pony, whom Archie would no more think of neglecting than I would neglect his brothers or sisters. Then all the children came into our bed, and there they opened their stockings. Afterwards, we got dressed and took breakfast, and then all went into the library, where each child had a table set for his bigger presents. Quentin had a perfectly delightful electric railroad, which had been rigged up for him by one of his friends, the White House electrician, who has been very good to all the children. Then Ted and I, with General Wood and Bob Ferguson, he was a lieutenant in my regiment, went for a 3-hour ride, and all of us, including the children, took lunch at the house with the children's aunt, Mrs. Captain Cowles, Archie and Quentin having their lunch at a little table with their cousin Sheffield. Late in the afternoon, I played single-stick with General Wood and Mr. Ferguson. I am going to get your father to come and try it soon. We have to try to hit as light as possible, but sometimes we hit hard. And today, I have a bump over one eye and a swollen wrist. Then all our family and kinsfolk, and Senator and Mrs. Lodge's family and kinsfolk, had our Christmas dinner in the East Room, closing up with the Virginia reel. Mrs. Roosevelt and I would like to wish you a very Merry Christmas and the happiest of holidays. Bully!